Back out here at the 2012 Logan County Health Fair. Show sponsored today by Community Action Partnership. For information on all the services and resources Community Action Partnership of Central Illinois provides, phone 217-732-2159 and become a foster grandparent. It's fun and very rewarding. Josh Komnick, along with Justin Tierney, the sports bum of Logan County, as he proclaimed himself. We've got several things here going on. Of course, we got to talk about the Illinois hire yet to see if Justin, if that's okay with Justin.
Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about it right now while we got it going on. We just talked about the Final Four. Real quick before we go, your winners are?
I will take Kentucky and Ohio State.
Okay, and then Monday night, Kentucky and Ohio State will play. And who you got?
I'm going to take the upset that night. I'm going to go Ohio State. I think the Buckeyes in the Big Ten get a victory.
Really? Okay, I'm going to take, of course, Kentucky, and I'm going to take – there's some reason I like Kansas. I just have liked them for several days now. I'm going to take Kentucky and Kansas, and then I take Kentucky. I just don't – I would love to see Kentucky get beat. I don't know why, but I just don't see it happen. They're too good.
Yep.
Hey, we want to thank some of our sponsors. Jake's Furnishings, located at 1100 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln, open 7 days a week. Phone 735-1212 or go online to jakesfurnishings.com. Jim Grimaldi, a criminal defense attorney, Logan County's only law firm dedicated exclusively to the practice of criminal law. Phone Jim at 651-8089. The Christian Village, the area's leader for senior living and healthcare services. Phone 732-2189 for a tour. Goodwill of Lincoln. Find everything for everyone at the Lincoln Goodwill store next to Kroger. Open 7 days a week. Phone them at 732-6700. Eaton Corporation, America's choice for top quality, high performance electrical equipment for over 53 years. And Edward Jones, financial advisor Bob Neal. Call 735-2585 or stop by the office located at 218 South Kickapoo in downtown Lincoln. The new Illinois basketball coach is Mr. John Gross. Give us a call, 737-3791. What have you found out about this guy after maybe listening to his press conference, reading the paper? Do you like him? Do you not like him? What's he got to do to get Illinois back? John Gross is 40 years old. He led Ohio University to the Sweet 16 this year before an overtime loss to UNC, the University of North Carolina. Gross was an assistant under Thad Matta, who, of course, Thad Matta in the Final Four. Yep. In Ohio State. He was an assistant with him at Butler, Xavier, and also at Ohio State. In 4 seasons at Ohio, Gross was 85-56. But the thing I'm a little worried about, he's 34-30 in the Mid-Atlantic Conference. He is credited with recruiting efforts to get Greg Oden. You remember Greg Oden?
Yep.
Of course, now in the NBA, that super class they had at Ohio State. Mike Conley, Daquan Cook. He had all those guys that he was kind of credited him, I guess. He was maybe what they would call now in college basketball the lead recruiter.
Yep.
To get those guys there. He was named the Assistant of the Year in 2006 for basically getting those guys there. And that's when Ohio State made their run in the Final Four was back in when Greg Oden and Mike Conley were there. But, Justin, talk about we got a phone? Oh, we got a caller. Caller. Go ahead, you're in the cheap seats.
Hello.
There we go. Caller, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, there he is. Okay, sorry about that. We had didn't have the microphone on. Go ahead. What do you want to talk about?
Well, this is my opinion.
Okay.
I say there's only one way Ohio State could beat Kansas, and that is if they had the 3 officials they had one that That's my opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, we got
always helps to have a little officiating go your way.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have those calls. You've got to have those calls that are maybe questionable.
Especially this time of year when the games are coming down. I mean, how many games last weekend came down to the last 30 seconds, the last minute? I mean, it was just amazing. I mean, I watched that Kansas-North Carolina game and just up and down and up and down, and it's a great time of year, and you're absolutely right. It does take a couple calls to go your way.
Well, and I also say free throw shooting is a huge benefit, and one thing that Ohio State doesn't do that well, they don't shoot free throws very well. you know, I don't know. Kansas is okay. I don't know that there's a good free throw shooting team left, really. I don't know that Kentucky's a great free throw shooting team. Maybe Louisville. They've got some decent shooters, but they're not great. And when it comes down, boy, those free throws are big time late in the game.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Josh, we were talking a little bit about the Illinois coach, and I think my perspective on this is you have to separate who we hired and the process of hiring the coach. I think who we hired, John Gross, I think he sounds fine. You know, he doesn't get me real excited, but I like what I read. I like the little things I hear about him. At the same time, the process of hiring him was just embarrassing. I felt like, as an Illinois fan, we swung and missed on so many people, and it just made us look bad. And I think that's the thing that kind of I'll always remember about this hire, and I think a lot of fans are frustrated by, is we went after Shaka Smart, we whiffed. We went after Brad Stevens, we whiffed. Supposedly they made inroads on a few other candidates that just didn't want to have anything. They just flat out ignored your guy, Frank Martin.
Yeah.
Then he went to South Carolina.
And and from what I've heard, he would have come to Illinois.
Yeah. So I think John Gross has some potential. I like what I see. We talked about his relationship with Thad Matta, and obviously he's got some moxie as a recruiter. But it still stings to swing and miss so badly, and it really says a lot about how far the program has fallen. It's a rebuilding project that he's got.
Well, I'll give you a little confidence booster back, though. If you remember back for the last 2 years, name the programs that Shaka Smart and Brad Stevens have declined other than Illinois.
They did shut some people down. They shut
a lot of people down.
Tennessee and Mizzou. And
it wasn't just the Illini. Last year, Shaka Smart had numerous offers after that great run he made, and he turned down a lot of people, as you said. Brad Stevens has been turning people down for 3 years now. You know, and I think maybe more and more guys are getting comfortable and don't want to make all these switch everywhere here. Settle your family. You know, get into an area that you like. Obviously, he likes Butler. You know, he wants to be there. The money wasn't an issue, but when is enough? You know, I mean, when the money comes, you know, there's what's $1 million and next to $2 million, except a bigger home and maybe a little bit better car. But you know, I think that I'd like, from what I hear of this guy, I think for most people they just don't know him. Yeah. You know, you don't hear about him. You don't hear about top assistants getting jobs like an Illinois job. You hear top assistants getting jobs like ISU or Bradley or what they may call mid-major programs. Most of the time when you're coming supposedly to a top 20 program like they say Illinois is, you're getting a head coach from another place. Now, obviously, he's a head coach at Ohio, but that's not a head coach at NC State or Florida State, who was maybe in with Illinois a little bit. So I'm okay with it. It sounds like he's a great guy. I watched the thing on the internet, his press conference. He speaks well, but then again, you got to perform.
The two things that I read that I really like. Number one, he's a recruiter. I mean, he sounds like he's a showman, a people person, which Bruce Weber, I thought, was a pretty good X's and O's coach. Well, at least when he had Darren Williams, he was.
Everybody could have been.
But, you know, I like that he's got a recruiting reputation. I think that'll help. The other thing I like is that he supposedly loves to push the tempo. You know, he likes to get out. He's known as a guy who's a player's coach. He lets his players play. Will let his guards have a lot of freedom. He likes to get out and pressure, and I'm ready for a little more exciting brand of basketball.
This year was a very boring year to watch Illinois.
From Bruce Weber's motion offense was, you know, it's just a joke to call it a motion offense when all we're doing is dribbling around the perimeter for the first 25 seconds of a shot clock and jacking up a shot. So I'm hopeful that, you know, he'll push the tempo, things will progress on that end. But the thing that worries me, you hit on it a little bit, 34-30 in the MAC.
Yeah.
Boy, I'd love to see a little bit better. But then again, he did have a good tournament run this year, too. He's won 3 NCAA tournament games.
I think a lot of people, including me, sometimes take too much in perspective of the fact that he did have 3 great games. You know, what was his record before that? You know, can he get his guys to play on a Wednesday when they have to take a plane ride 3 hours and play a conference game on the road? How are his teams then?
Yep.
anybody's up for an NCAA game.
Yep.
You know, anybody's up for an elite, not elite, but, you know, a round of 32 or a win or go home type of mentality.
If you read between the lines on his 2 wins this year, he beat Michigan, not taking anything away from Michigan.
They weren't that good anyways.
Ball team, but they were a team that relied on shooting a lot, and, you know, they were at their best when they shot the ball well, and I don't think they shot the ball that well against Ohio. And then in their second round game, they actually played a 12 seed
who should not have won it.
USF. They didn't play, you know, obviously a high caliber team in that second round. Now they gave North Carolina, you know,
a run, but they didn't have their point guard.
Exactly. So, I mean, I give this whole kind of thing a B minus maybe. I think we got a pretty good coach, but the process was embarrassing.
And you weren't alone with that. One of the guys that I think maybe the best in college basketball, and Tom Izzo, was absolutely livid about the process, the way it went.
The way they treated Bruce Weber. And, you know, I'm hopeful of the thing. If I'm the AD, Mike Thomas at Illinois, boy, our football team and our basketball team better win some games.
This guy put his neck on the line.
Yeah, he sure did.
And I'm saying 3 years. He could be a hero, or if you
zero.
want to call it a zero.
A zero.
In 3 years. And, boy, he's, you know, I'll give him some credit. He grabbed him and is going to go with it. Yep. And, you know, whether this was his master plan when he first came in, it kind of seems like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if it works out well, this guy's a genius. But if not, he's going to be looking for a job.
Another big factor, I think, in this hire is we still don't know who else he's got in his coaching staff.
Yeah.
There are some rumors that he's going to bring in one of his assistants from Ohio who played at SLU as a big guy in the St. Louis area. There's been some talk that he could bring his half-brother. This is interesting, something maybe people don't know, is that his half-brother was Eric Gordon's AAU coach.
Could have helped out a couple years ago.
Yeah, could have helped out a couple years ago. So his half-brother is from Indianapolis and was an assistant at Xavier and Butler. And then the other coach is hopefully somebody from the Chicago area. Jerrance Howard, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? The coach from Simeon. There's a couple other assistants. So that'll be a big factor in recruiting and putting together a staff.
Yeah, it sounds like Jerrance, they're not quite sure what they're going to do with him.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I'm a firm believer in you need to keep people that are Illini people. This guy bleeds orange and blue. He's been there before. He played for the Illini. He wants to stay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he wants to stay. But I don't know if this guy's going to give him the opportunity to stay.
Yeah.
And that bothers me quite a bit. He's got great ties in Chicago. Everybody knows this guy.
Well, not just with recruiting, but with the current players. You know, I mean, it's got to be hard for a current player, especially half our team is freshmen. They've only been here for a year, and you know, they're when all the stability that they committed to. And making your college choice is a big decision for any kid, let alone an athlete. And, you know, now they've got a whole new coaching staff. So, I mean, they've got to kind of prove themselves over again. And so that'll be an interesting thing to watch Jerrance Howard.
Personally, his best move would be to try and keep Jerrance, I think.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I agree. I want Jerrance to stay, and I'm sure the players do, and I'm sure there's a lot of people at the university that do.
Well, we'll get back to recruiting. 14 McDonald's All-Americans in the Final Four. I mean, you got to have talent to win. And this kid, I'm the same age as him. This guy can recruit. I mean, you just read things about him. That's the reason Illinois upped his salary, is because Kentucky wanted him. Yeah. Kansas wanted him. We're already hearing now, if he doesn't, he's a shoe-in for Kansas or Kentucky.
Yeah, probably.
Shoe-in.
Danny Manning was an assistant at Kansas, and he just took the head coaching job at Tulsa, which leaves a assistant's position open at Kansas. Jerrance Howard played for Bill Self.
Right.
Obviously has great recruiting ties in one of the
Chicago area.
One of the best places to recruit. So
well, you can't now. If Kentucky and Kansas are wanting this guy, obviously Illinois better be wanting him. I don't care if it's a new coach coming in and you don't even know who Jerrance is. He's got to know who he is.
Well, it's one of those you're either with him or you're against him kind of things too. So
maybe Jerrance doesn't want to stay now.
Would you rather recruit against Jerrance Howard or have him recruiting for you? So.
You better have him for you.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're in my book. So,
I agree.
Hey, we got to take another quick commercial break here. We'll be back for the last 15 minutes. But Jim and Jeff number 2 will be here from 10 to noon along with Community Action Partnership. We're out here at the Rec Center for the 2012 Lincoln and Logan County Health Fair. You're in the Cheap Seats, 96.3 FM and WLCN County Health Fair out at the Lincoln Rec Center. Josh Komnick along with Justin Tierney. And Justin, you got a little sponsorship to talk about?
Yeah, I got to thank our sponsors. St. Clair's Manor, their team's dedication is what makes them special. phone 735-1507. Lincoln College, since 1865, phone 1-800-569-0556 to schedule your personal tour and meeting with a professional admissions counselor. That's where I work.
Is that you?
Yeah, it might be me. It could
really?
be me. Berkey Calvert Schrader Funeral Homes in Lincoln and Mount Pulaski, providing professional care and compassion since 1890. Century Dental Center, experience the convenience of one-visit dentistry at Century Dental Center with 2 locations. Visit Chatham or downtown Lincoln. Community Action Partnership of Central Illinois, phone 217-732-2159 for information on all of the services that they have to offer. Thank you to our sponsors.
Yeah, thanks to all the sponsors.
And one more thing, they'll be taking a break next week.
Yeah.
For Easter, but we invite you to join us on Saturday, April 7th at Jake's Furnishings, located at 1100 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln.
Yep, back at Jake's, Easter break off next week. So, hey, Justin, we got a little bit of local stuff to talk about. We talked about earlier the Central State 8 gave their winter awards away, and we wanted to run through not only basketball, but there's, of course, wrestling had a great year, swimming, girls basketball. All awards were given out over this past week. Of course, Central State 8 awards for basketball. The player of the year was Everett Clemens, led their team to the 4th place finish in Class 3A state basketball here. He had several, averaged 18 a game, 40-point outbursts against Southeast. I think it was a clear-cut, you follow basketball a lot, clear-cut player of the year.
Well, the thing about Everett Clemens is he's a heck of a football player.
Yeah.
He is just a 1 in a million athlete, I think. Holy mackerel, he's fast.
Well, we'll go through the basketball guys real quick. Peyton Allen, Chatham Glenwood, Larry Austin. Actually, these 2 are the only 2 sophomores. The rest of them are all seniors, and you pointed that out, which is going to be a wide open league next year for the Railers on the court.
Sure will.
Peyton Allen from Chatham and Larry Austin were the only 2 sophomores. Everybody else is a senior. Jalen Brigady, Lanphier, Chris Davis, Southeast, T.J. Davis, Lanphier, Austin Ingleton, Sacred Heart Griffin, Tyves Gardner, Southeast, Tyler Thurston, Chatham Glenwood, Christian Van Hook, 6'4", senior. The little blurb on him was led the underman Lincoln team 16-16 record, became starter this year after being a reserve for the past 2 seasons, averaged 11 points a game and 5 rebounds, 33 three-pointers to tie for the number 2 on the team. Of course, Everett Clemens was on there, and Willie Wiley was also on the team for first team. And then special mention out of just the Railers, we'll talk about Jordan Gessner, a senior from Lincoln, and also Max Cook, a sophomore. Special mention, all academic from Lincoln, Max Cook, Dane Eimer, Tommy Harris, Daniel Hemingway, Austin Cruz, Joey Olden, and Jake Olson, all academic Central State 8. We've got some also for the, get my papers right here, girls basketball. Zana Medley, I think, Springfield High. She was the player of the year. I think she's been player of the year for the last 10, it seems like.
She's going to
TCU, Texas Christian.
She's a heck of a
scored 1,876 points in her career. She was all everything. Special mention for the Railers, Lincoln Mackenzie Cooper, just a freshman. She got special mention. And also, Alyssa Stevenson, a junior from Lincoln. She also got special mention. All academic, Emily Johnson, Jessica Nguyen, Michelle Paulus, Alyssa Stevenson, and Adrianelle.
Everybody calls her Ed. I know Ed.
Ed, okay. Ed Tukes.
Yep.
Also for some more Railer awards, the wrestlers, Central State 8, if you know, Justin, they had a great year. And you talk a little bit about the wrestlers who made what?
Jonathan Beverman, a senior from Lincoln, finished the season 25-14 at 132 pounds and placed 4th in the 2A Muhammad Seymour regional. Matthew Brewer was a sophomore, was 2nd at the Muhammad Seymour regional and Mount Zion sectional at 113 pounds. 28-15 was his record, and he qualified for the state tournament. Luke Coney, a sophomore, won the 2A Muhammad Seymour regional and finished 31-11. Had 53 takedowns, and 13 of his wins came by pin. I think he got sick, if I remember, in sectionals. Otherwise, he would have been at the state tournament.
Sure.
And then Zach Schlater qualified for the state tournament. at 182 pounds, two-time all-conference selection, and finished 41-7.
Wow.
So, yeah.
47 takedowns.
Four, is it 3 or 4? My math is terrible. 4 Lincoln Railers making the wrestling all-conference. So congratulations to them, as well as some honorable mention guys, Christian Bennett, Kerry 80, Brian Haggard, Brent Metelko, who's only a freshman, Riley Reed, who's a big boy, a big football player, and Connor Schmidt from Lincoln.
Man, a lot of young guys on the wrestling team.
And then Mr. Koning also made the academic all-conference as well.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Final standings for those guys in the wrestling were Chatham-Glenwood finished first, but Railers
tied for second.
Tied for second with Springfield, 6-2 record in the Central State 8. So big year, but man, they got a lot of guys.
They got a
coming
great
back.
Tradition over there. I mean, I know Lincoln sometimes gets kind of pegged as a basketball town. Well, they would never say that to a wrestler.
No,
the wrestlers are strong program.
They're
over
young,
there.
man. They're young. They got a
Yeah.
lot of.
I think everybody. I want to say everybody, but Schlater will be back next year. So looking forward to a couple more good years out of the regular wrestling program.
One more program, Central State 8 Swimming Awards, and the only first team Central State 8 was Clay Irwin. He's from Lincoln. He's a senior. He was earned first all-conference honor with a second-place finish in the 50 free and a third-place finish in the 100 backstroke at the Central State 8 meet. A swimmer on the 200 medley and a 200 free relay. So congratulations to Clay Irwin for Central State 8 all-conference, and also special mention Lincoln's Nick Davis, also a senior too. So big ups to all the athletes. Not only people that make the conference and things like that, but all the athletes we enjoy. Either every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we go out and watch.
Yep, and I got to give a lot of credit to the coaches,
sure,
that
parents,
and the parents as well. So it's a great thing to see so much success. So Anytime Fitness is coming over here, bringing us some free gifts. All right, sweet.
It's happening over. It's happening.
I like this purple. I can roll with this.
Anytime Fitness wristband here. So everything's happening out here at the Lincoln Rec Center. Come on out. We're almost done here. About a minute and a half yet before the cheap seat's over. But we want to thank Community Action Partnership, and also they're going to be staying with Jim and Jeff number 2 as Community Action Partnership of Central Illinois live today from 10 to noon out here at the Logan County Health Fair at the Rec Center. So come on out. The prize vault is here. There's a ton of prizes, ton of giveaways going on out here at the Lincoln Rec Center. So come out, enjoy a good morning of learning things to stay healthier.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Josh is going to chop some bricks, karate bricks later. He's going to do the old thing with the 2x4s.
Right.
I
can do it.
Yeah, right.
But I'm glad the ambulance is here because I'll need it afterwards. But, hey, Justin, I want to thanks again for coming on.
No problem.
It was a good show today. Had a lot to talk about, and hopefully here in the next couple of weeks we'll get regular baseball coach Kurt Courtright out here so we can talk some baseball, regular baseball. It's a tough time of year for them because of the Saturday doubleheaders, but we'll get him back on. And
he's got more important things to worry about. He's got to win some games.
We got to win games. That's right. I'm going to head over there just after the show here. So come on out. They start at 10 o'clock. They got 2 games going on over at Mike Curry Field just across the street here from the Lincoln Rec Center. We want to thank everybody. We want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Community Action Partnership. And Justin, thanks for coming out.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Hey, we'll be back here in just a couple minutes with Jim and Jeff number 2 from here at the Lincoln Rec Center. That's a Cheap Seats, 96.3 FM and WLCN online.com.